everyone, it's Kinetic Affect, and today we're going to be talking about some tools and techniques that we've picked up over the years that have helped us overcome some difficult moments in our lives, not much unlike the one we're all facing right now, and we'll be sharing some of the research behind them.
Yeah, and over time, just so you know, these routines, they become habits that keep us, sane for as much as we can be, and then maintain some level of consistency throughout our days, makes us stronger, more productive, and healthier.
So let's get into it. Here are 6 things that anyone can do during quarantine to make yourself feel better, be more prepared to deal with stress, anxiety, and depression, and help create a whole new you to share with the world whenever things get back to normal.
But will they make me perfect?
Nothing will do that, unfortunately. So, number 1 on our list is by far the easiest and something you've probably been doing already for your entire life. However, we're going to show you a little bit of a different take on it, and that is drink water. More importantly, the first thing when you get up. So what I do is before I go to bed, I put a bottle or a big glass of water on my nightstand so I can reach for it first thing when I wake up. When you wake up in the morning, your body is in a state of dehydration because you've had no water for 6 to 10 hours, depending on how much you sleep and when you last drank fluids the night before. Now, drinking 16 ounces of water when you first wake up does some amazing things for you. It fires up your immune system. It removes toxins from within your blood. It improves your skin. I mean, look at this beauty right here. And it improves brain functionality as your brain is made up of 75% water.
Okay, I appreciate that fact you just shared, because if it does improve brain functionality, I need to be drinking a lot more water because I could use it right now. I find myself standing in front of the refrigerator a lot these days during quarantine, and drinking water is incredibly important to help stop those hunger signals that are sometimes actually fake. You might actually need to be drinking water, so that's important for me. Keeps me trim and fit looking in the meantime, and lastly for me, because of headaches. A good majority of people's headaches, including my own, are often caused by a lack of water, and that lack of water can cause constriction in the veins, and that's something you don't want. So the number 2 thing on our list is something I happen to love, is exercise. I love it a little bit more than drinking water, not gonna lie, but here's why. I like lifting weights and I like bodybuilding for me. It's a sense of releasing my aggression, which especially during a time of stress is incredibly important for me. Also, it's a positive habit of just being able to turn pain and difficulty into something that helps you grow, which also means this can happen emotionally in your life. Why not physicalize it too? Typically, lifting weights will also help you be leaner. See, muscle burns calories, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the best things that you can do for your brain is physical exercise, particularly high intensity aerobic exercise, which is my personal preference. That means getting your heart rate up to 80% of the maximum beats per minute. Exercise also decreases depression, relieves stress, and it even helps prevent cognitive decline like Alzheimer's disease. It certainly doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. However, if you do like working out daily like myself, studies have shown that just 20 to 40 minutes of exercise in the morning will often give you enough mental and emotional benefits that can last anywhere between 2 to 12 hours, depending on how long and what kind of workout you choose. And remember, that's important because you want to set a goal. Kirk went from this to this, and I went from this to this. We took 2 totally different approaches to get where we wanted to go. So choose the one that seems to work for you and stick to it. Number 3 of things that I like to do to get my day started is sit quietly with myself. Now, I use the term meditation for this. Others may call it prayer. Some may just call it sitting in silence. Whatever you call it is totally fine. I have no attachment to that, but I'm going to use the word meditation for the sake of this video. Now, meditation is key for my mental well-being. In fact, studies from Harvard, UCLA, Johns Hopkins, and numerous other scholarly and medical institutions have shown that meditation can lower depression, reduce anxiety and stress, improve concentration, and even helps to reverse aging in the brain. In fact, check out this video right here for some other really interesting facts about meditation.
A study from the Carnegie Mellon University indicates that mindfulness meditation training is useful in decreasing feelings of loneliness, which in turn decreases the risk of morbidity and mortality.
I meditate every day. I meditate every day, and it helps me. It's like having an anchor. If I don't do it, I feel like I'm constantly chasing the day.
I've been a TMer for about 5 years now, and it is one of the most important tools I've adopted in my own life.
And you gave a great definition of what meditation was.
Yeah, I said that it's like you have a cell phone and then somebody gives you the charger. And you go, oh, now this thing, I can get this thing up to 100 anytime I want.
And I'm going to be honest with you. If you would have ever said meditation to someone like me, I would have been like, no, thank you. I don't do that, or ballet or whatever else. That was how I was raised. As someone myself who was diagnosed with PTSD, okay, and I've dealt with a lot of trauma in my life, I found it very difficult to just sit with myself. I need a way to help me calm my mind. And it really just helps remind me to stop and think before I act, because everyone that knows me will tell you that is something I need to learn to do a little bit more often.
Now, if you're someone like Kirk, sometimes sitting in silence can bring up feeling states of anxiety or stress. So just remember, if you're sitting and it's not working for you, don't feel like there's anything wrong or anything you need to fix. Some things just work for some people and some things don't. So pick and choose what works best for you and use that as your guiding tool.
So the number 4 item on our list here is practicing gratefulness, which for someone like me can be incredibly difficult. And especially during a time when we're trapped at home, the quarantine and this COVID-19 that we're dealing with, it's hard to remember to be grateful, and not just be grateful, but to think about what makes us grateful. And so what I try to do is just work it into my everyday life. When I wake up, right when I go to bed, or before I eat, I try to think of something grateful. I just work it into the day. I don't keep a special necessary journal, but I do have like a board on my refrigerator that enables me to write positive affirmations on it. I like to put positive signs around my house, things that I wouldn't even normally think or say, because it helps put me in the right frame of mind for the day. And I think many of us could use that right now.
There are all these stresses around us, and we all are born with a 2 million-year-old brain. A brain that's always looking to protect us from something wrong. A brain that's looking for what's wrong. And of course, what's wrong is always available. There's always some challenge to be faced, always something to be concerned about, something to be stressed about, something to be frustrated about, something to be worried about. But you know what? What's wrong is always available, and so is what's right. Gratitude is the one emotion that is the antidote to what messes up our life. There's so many emotions that mess us up, but if you had to pick the 2 primary ones that mess up relationships, mess up your career, mess up your happiness, what are they? Fear, and on the other side, anger.
Actually, it's been biologically and neurologically proven to have a profound effect on the body and the mind. In fact, at UC Berkeley, they've launched a multi-year project to expand the science and understanding around the practice of gratitude. One of the most simple things you can do is just try and close your eyes for a few seconds, think of something you're grateful for, and over time, you'll notice that what it actually does is it rewires the brain to start to notice the things that you're more appreciative for rather than the things that you're lacking in your life. And that will change the way that you experience the world.
What you want to do is train your brain to look for what's right. Train your brain to appreciate. Why not just have a daily practice of at least finding 3 things you can feel grateful for, and don't think about them intellectually. Actually step in your body and focus on it like you're back in that moment. It could be a moment from 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It could be from today. But let the power of gratitude roll over you and battle the one thing that gets in the way, that law of familiarity. The law of familiarity says if you're around anything enough, you tend to take it just a little bit for granted. It's human nature. And the way to stop that is stop, feel it, and appreciate it. Let your consciousness, your heart, your soul guide you instead of your head and your mind. And that will change your life.
Number 5 on the list. Okay, I'm going to be honest. This one might be a little bit of a hard sell for most people, but I promise you it has become one of the building blocks of my morning routine, and that is taking a cold shower. Now, it's not the most enjoyable thing when you first start, but I love it now. And besides some crucial health benefits, it has become a key foundation to building my own self-discipline. Here are a few things that cold showers have been proven to do.
But here's some of the benefits of a cold shower. It decreases muscle pain. And anytime you have an acute injury, you want to use cold and not heat. That's just a side note. You also get decreased joint pain, joint inflammation, especially with rheumatoid arthritis. You'll speed up recovery from either a workout or you had an actual injury from sports. It decreases inflammation in general, increases your cognitive function, your overall mood. There's been some interesting studies on depression and anxiety. And also, it can even increase your metabolism.
So I do try to take Gabriel's advice occasionally.
All right, let's try this. If Gabriel can do it, I can do it. Yeah, it's not that cold. All right.
Cold showers are not for me.
So while a cold shower in the morning may not sound too appealing, it can shake off the night's sleepiness and give you the best possible start to the day.
So another hormone, in addition to the cortisol that's released, is something called norepinephrine. And norepinephrine is really important for our alertness, for our cognition, for our intellect, and importantly for our motivation. So if we're feeling a bit low, in a low mood, then actually having a cold shower might boost our norepinephrine and boost our motivation. Aggression, irritability, insomnia can all be caused by an increase in dopamine, and what cold showers are able to do is to be able to reduce that dopamine level. So if we have a cold shower and we reduce our dopamine, we can actually become less irritable, less anxious, and perhaps less hot-headed.
I think the idea of the cold shower, ultimately for me, is about discipline. And discipline is the act of doing something you don't want to do now for a greater outcome later down the road. Okay, and a cold shower is not something most people want to do, but it's something that Gabriel does every day as a practice in discipline. And we have many ways to do that. I have ways to do that. I make a bed every morning, even though I know I'm going to get right back into it. I do things at my home right now, even though I know I'm not going to have any guests over, because the act of that discipline sets my mind frame in the right way for the day. And that's incredibly important for someone like me, and for many of us right now who may be losing our routines because it's difficult right now for all of us. So the sixth and final item on our list is diet. Now, I know a lot of people hear diet and they're thinking, oh no, I've been on one of those. Being on one as a diet is a temporary thing. We don't mean diet in that way. I mean diet as in what you choose to consume throughout your life as a lifestyle. It's better to have it set every day than to go up and down, up and down. And ultimately, the thing is that most people just need to understand that knowledge is power, which means that, do you know what you're eating? Do you know what you're drinking? Do you know what you're putting in your body? Knowing what you're putting in your body will help you make better choices. Because as a matter of fact, Harvard research in 2017 has shown that there is inherently no bad food. People are like, oh, get rid of carbs. Carbs are bad. Get rid of fats. Fats are bad. Butter is bad. Sugar is bad. And don't get me wrong, anything in excess is bad for you. But everything in moderation can have its place. Now, I will admit, you probably want to avoid eating Doritos and Sour Powers your entire life. But if you can, try to find some balance to eat something that's actually going to make you feel full. A gummy bear is not going to make you feel full.
Absolutely. And remember that cliche saying, you are what you eat? Well, it's actually true, because what you eat turns into the cells that we're made of. So starting your day off with something healthy not only becomes a part of what our body is made of, but it often helps us make healthier choices for the rest of the day. Now, when I say start your day, I don't mean first thing in the morning, as the word breakfast literally came from the words break fast, because overnight your body's been fasting. So for me, I practice something called intermittent fasting. So my first meal of the day is usually between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., depending on what I'm doing in the day. And it makes me feel healthy and helps me achieve my goal, which is to reduce my weight. Now, in 2017, the Journal of Nutrition published a study that suggested that those who ate 3 meals a day and snacked in between tended to gain weight, while those who had just 1 or 2 meals a day usually lost weight. So whatever your goal is, whether it's bulking up or leaning down, find what works for you and do that, as there are a lot of ways to approach breaking a fast. And there are a lot of people with a lot of different body types. So everyone has to choose what's best for them. So there you have it. Those are our 6 things that we have incorporated in our lives to help us maintain a healthy lifestyle, lower stress, anxiety, and depression. And as best we can, we try to do them daily. Having said that, it's important that if you're trying to make new changes in your life, that you don't overload yourself by trying to incorporate all these things at once. Take one thing off this list and try it out for a week. See how it feels. If you're already doing some of these things, then just pick one more that you'd like to add and see if you like it. And most importantly, please, 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 be kind and compassionate to yourself while you're trying something new.
And because it can be so hard to be kind and compassionate to yourself during a time like this, it's nice that you come from a community that wants you to be kind and compassionate. And that's thanks to Allegan Community Mental Health, because yes, we're fighting a disease, we're fighting something that will affect the body, but really more importantly is how we're all feeling in our heart and in our mind. And for those who have been struggling before this, is now going to be compounded. So what we're here to do is to remind you to have fun as best you can. Be silly. Dance by yourself in the living room or wherever. Just do something to knock yourself out of this loop that we sometimes get in, of this negativity, because we can take ourselves way too seriously. And ultimately, what really matters is the little steps we take along the way, because those are what add up to the greater change in our lives.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. Have some fun. Don't take things too seriously. Enjoy trying something new and see what works for you. Success ultimately should be judged by realistic expectations. So let's set ourselves up to succeed. Having said that, it's likely that if you're trying something new, that you will experience obstacles in the way, occasionally stumble, or even have a feeling of failure, because things don't always go perfectly as we plan them to in our minds.
And boy, can I tell you, I know failure all too well. I've failed many times in my life, and I still do. And one thing I can tell you, because of the amount of times I failed, that it can be a really great teacher if you let it. I mean, Gabriel and I's Kinetic Affect, because of the amount of challenge and failure and difficulty we faced, have prepared another video for you, just in case you need a reminder of just how wonderful failure can be as a teacher in your life if you let it. So thank you to Allegan Community Mental Health for their support, compassion, and love, especially during this difficult time. And we want you to take a look at our next video for a few more simple tips and for a performance from us to you.
So thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.